Hey guys, Salty Merce here, and we're going to talk about forming a corporation. So, you may ask, why should we form a corporation? That can be really summarized by three main objects. You can legitimize your business to perform legally in your state, employ people, pay your taxes, and essentially pay yourself without worrying about, doing things illegally. The other part is financial protection. Whether you're a former C or an S corporation, as long as you don't use your own personal assets in the business, you're pretty much secure. Even if the business goes belly up, you're pretty much safe from kind of losing everything you own. That's because really, when you form that business, you're forming it as its own entity and not part of yourself, unlike with an LLC. We can talk about that another time. But essentially, financial protection. And the last on the list there is business growth. You can raise capital, you can list your company to be traded publicly on the stock market, and that's going to help you expand your business nationwide, region, even globally, really depending on what your objectives are for your business. Depending on what it is, you may want to just stay local, and that's okay too. But this is going to help you in the long run. So, with that said, let's look at the highway to really kind of how you do this, like how you're going to form a corporation. A selected look at what you need to do to essentially form a corporation. Now, if you look on the IRS website, you'll find the application page for an employee identification number. That's a requirement for you to have as a business owner, whether you're a C corporation, S corporation, or an LLC. So this is kind of the standard one-liner from the IRS of what you need. Now the IRS will go down and tell you exactly if you're eligible, how to go through, and it's really a pretty simple process to get your EIN. You start the application, and fairly soon after you've input all the information, you'll have it. Now, you'll probably have to go through and do your actual corporation information through your state as you do this. That way, they're kind of doing the same thing at the same time. Now, we won't talk about business taxes or anything else currently because that's a lot more information, but we'll even go down here to this link where it says starting a business, and the IRS will even help you out. It'll give you information. So you can go through and it'll ask you exactly how you're going to set it up and record keeping. Now, that's the one thing that's important whether you're starting your own LLC, C corporation, or S corporation. Record keeping is the top of the list for everything. So you want to keep expenses, you want to keep revenue records, etc., everything. And there's a little interesting thing here on the IRS webpage that actually go through and show you essentially what all these mean, what a sole proprietorship or a partnership, corporations, S corp, and LLC mean. Now, LLC is like your most rudimentary business. We can talk about LLCs in another video. S corporations have their own tax benefits. However, my opinion is that a C corporation is one of the safer and more formidable ways to form a corporation. There's benefits to both a C corporation or an S corporation. And if you form an S corporation, you can always go back and change it to a C corporation later on. So you click forming a corporation, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to use for your corporation on tax purposes. Now, if you're going to start your own business, it is essentially you get a person who is educated extremely well in taxes, so they can go through and do this for you. There are websites, there's companies that you can pay to be the middleman, and that's essentially another option for you. Now, if we go to your state, you can go to your state website. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use Florida. Now, in Florida, you go to the website dos.myflorida.com/sunbiz, and it brings you to their division of corporations. Now, Florida's website is extremely business friendly. Florida, Texas, Delaware, they are some of the most business friendly states in the country. And on the Florida website, it'll tell you exactly what you need, whether it's an annual report. It'll go through what you need to do for filing for profit corporation, nonprofits, limited partnerships. Everything you need is on this website. It takes a little bit to go through, but let's get to the meats and potatoes of this first. So if you want to start a business, go to start a business. Click that tab. It'll bring you to this page right here. It'll say, it'll give you an option to look through the business types. You can identify on a corporate structure, and for the purposes of this video, I'm going to talk about C corporations. That is C corporations. And then it'll help you essentially form what you need to do to form your business. So the number one thing you need to do when you do an online filing here, which I always recommend just online doing it because we're in the 21st century, you have technology at your hand, just do it. And make sure you check you're on a profit, nonprofit, or LLC. Again, corporation, C corporation. So we'll click on this one, profit article of corporation, and then we are going to talk about filing. So we're going to click this open, and it'll bring you to this page right here. This form creates a Florida profit corporation or corrects or your rejected online filing. And you can say, I understand, and continue. I'm going to go back real quick. So I'm going to open up the one that we send in just so you can see exactly what it's going to go through. So it'll bring you to a website and it'll go through all this stuff with you. When you form your articles of corporation, there are requirements such as being the CEO, you have to have a board, you have to establish meetings. There's a lot of information, but it is pretty straightforward when you read it. So you have your articles of incorporation. It'll tell you what you need to put in each article. You don't have to really play around and figure out what you need to write. It's kind of already formatted for you. The effective date is the date that you want the articles of incorporation to begin. And that is important to understand because that's essentially when your business is registered with the state and you're allowed to then do business under your business name. So follow this whole page. You're going down. It'll talk about your annual report, what you have to file. In Florida, the fee for the annual report is $150, which, if you're your own business and you're generating quite a bit of revenue, that's really not bad. These are the fees right here. For filing the C corporation, these are all the fees right here. So to start your business, it is going to cost you $70, almost $80 just for the corporation part. That's nothing. When you're talking about your future financial independence, $80 for future financial independence to be your own business, owner, that's a no-brainer if you're asking me. So you file the corporation paperwork as you need, and you send the check to the Florida Department of State. Again, this is for Florida. Look at your own state's website. If I'm starting a business, I'm going to start it in Florida, Texas, or probably Delaware, just because those are some of the business-friendly states in the country. You can do it in your state, but you may have way more loopholes to run through and jump through. For instance, I'm from a northeastern state, and taxes are incredibly high. And so one of the nice things about Florida and Texas is their corporation tax rate is relatively low compared to some of the other states out there. New York, Mass, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Those states are pretty tough on their business owners as far as corporation taxes go. But places like Florida, it's relatively low. Now, when you're a business owner, you'll have several taxes and fees you have to account for. So you have your federal corporation tax, you have your state corporation tax, you have your employees' income tax, you have your income tax. You're an employee too. You have the workman's compensation tax, you have unemployment tax, you have other fees here and there, especially if you're doing health insurance or even if you're not covering health insurance, which pretty much most businesses are required to now with the whole, Obamacare mandates and everything. That's a lot of money you have to fork out as far as covering employees. So just take all that into account when you're creating your business plan, essentially. I'll talk in another video on creating a business plan. I'll make up a business plan and show you exactly how I've gone through to start my own business plans. But anyway, we'll continue on this. So you'll have a cover letter. Again, Florida makes it really easy. They give you the formats on everything. You have a cover letter, you have the articles of incorporation, you go down principal office. So like for Florida, essentially, you have to have a address in the state. If you don't have an address in the state, you need to have somebody as a registered agent and who has an address in the state. Essentially, a registered agent is somebody that you're legally allowing to obtain certified mail and have things mailed to them in lieu of you for your business from the state that you're doing work in, essentially. So those can be legal documents and everything. So it's important that you understand that part. And if you do have to have a registered agent and you don't have somebody that you like 100% can rely on as an employee to be the registered agent, there are other companies that offer registered agent. Essentially, that's their business. They just have people that are registered agents, I guess. So anyway, we can talk about that as well in another video. We're going down to give you the articles. You fill in the articles. You pretty much just take their formatting. And once you sign it, you send it in. You send in the money. And voila, like it says right here. It'll essentially, you'll have your company. So this is the meats and potato of starting a C corporation, at least in Florida. This is pretty similar to almost every other state. Again, the website for Florida, if you're in Florida, is dos.myflorida.com. You could just go on Google and Google Florida Division of Corporations, and it'll give you the same information. We've talked about filing profit corporation for Florida, and there's also this other web page on here, and it has e-filing for all these things. Florida gives you the option to go through managing things, whether it's annual reports, which you're required to submit annual reports for your business, especially if you're a publicly traded business. And we're going to talk all about that in other videos as we go on. We could talk about fictitious names and everything else. This video, I just wanted to go through and show you exactly that step-by-step process. Pretty simple, pretty easy to form a corporation. That's pretty much it. So, Salty Merce, and I'll leave you to it until the next video.